Just because we look stupid don't mean we are. So my wife said, she said, y'all look like brothers. And I said, huh, it's not Duck Dynasty, it's Lawn Dynasty. What are we doing today? I talked to you about the garden that we're putting in, the quick garden that we're putting in. I was going to pull out the raised beds, and I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead, and what I'm going to do is we're going to double the size of the garden. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes back here, and we're going to make 4 more boxes. And this is, I guess you could call this our virus garden. So what we can do is, and all last year we came out here and we just picked tons and tons and tons of produce. I literally had, I had to shout into the wife to bring out a basket because I had cucumbers and tomatoes and squash and all kinds of stuff back here. I tell Barb to come over, and she's over here picking tomatoes and stuff. This is a corner of the yard that nobody sees. No one ever comes over here. No one ever sees it. Even while you're at the pool, you can't even see this, so why not use it? I get good sunshine across here. So we're going to expand this, and then I may take... Now, one note is that last year I had some disease issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the soil out of these beds, and I'm going to replace that soil. And I'm going to show you how using biochar and mulch, how to make a super garden. That's one thing we're talking about today. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pile it. Let me show you. I'm just going to pile it over here along this fence about 2 feet away. And what I'm going to do is kind of make just a backup garden. I'm just going to put some tomatoes or something over there. Something that gets a little more shade for the hot, hot, hot summertime. So that's what we're doing, so hold on. Okay, so let me explain what I'm doing over here. Why do I have a circus tent up? It's because we've got rain chances for 10 days. And the one thing I don't want is I don't want my compost pile that I'm making up to get super, super wet. There's plenty of moisture in there. I just want it very moist. And so I'm putting this up because this is a fast-acting compost. In other words, this is going to be ready in 1 to 2 weeks to mix into my garden soil. And that's what we do. So we put your garden soil or your regular lawn soil, and then right around your plants, the area where all your roots are going to be, you're going to mix in this super compost around that area. So wherever your roots may touch, that's where this goes. Does that make sense? So any soil that you use, whether you're just tilling up your backyard or using garden soil, you can do either one. You can just till your backyard up and use this, and you'll have a great crop. So step number one. What we're going to do is, what we want to do is we want to create a culture inside of this compost, a very active living culture. So we want a lot of microbial action. Well, here's what people don't understand. Microbes will actually die off if you don't feed them. So you have to have a lot of organic matter. If you just take regular compost, like today we're using black cow, that's already been through the composting and digestive process, so you want to add more food in. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take just black cow manure, compost manure. We're going to add humichar, a layer of humichar or biochar, whichever one you want. You can use either on this because this is in the garden. It doesn't matter. If you're going to be putting biochar on the lawn, you have to use humichar. You got that? You have to use humichar. But if you're using a garden, you can use humichar or regular biochar. We're going to put biochar on a layer of that on top. We're going to spray it with super juice with a microbial pack. And I'm going to link to all this junk in the description below. I'm going to put a link to a page and everything will be on there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this with some really clean, cheap organic matter. Now this is not fertilizer, and this is where people get confused. They think, oh, it's an organic fertilizer. No, it's not. What we're going to do is we're going to feed the microbes. We want to keep the microbes alive with really clean, fresh, organic matter. And the microbes will work and digest that, and that digestive process will actually release nutrients into the soil. So I really don't have to have any fertilizer in my garden. Now the lawn soil I'm using actually it comes with fertilizer in it already. Most of them do, a little bit of fertilizer. But doing this process, I will use no fertilizers this year on my vegetable garden. None. I will not use any. So let me go ahead and just show you how I'm doing this. All right. So this is a bag of gold. This is BIOCHAR. BIOCHAR, it's over the next few weeks, it should be available. Everything's going crazy with all this virus stuff, so who knows. But anyways, I'm going to put a layer of BIOCHAR on this compost. I'm also going to put a link to some other BIOCHAR. This is garden BIOCHAR. You do not use this on your lawn. And the reason being is because it's big and chunky, and that'll never work down into your soil. But what are we doing here? We're tilling it into the soil, so it can be a little bit chunky. So I'll put a link to the small can and to the 5-gallon bucket of this. And we'll put, I'm just going to really use BIOCHAR in this stuff. All right, so I have a layer, just a light layer of BIOCHAR on there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with super juice with a microbial pack inside of it. All right, so let me explain the super juice that I'm spraying. I'm making basically like a lawn concentrate is what I'm doing. So I'm taking a gallon of warm water, and I'm putting about 2 cups of dry super juice into that warm water, mixing it up. And then once that's all mixed up, I'm adding about a tablespoon of the microbial pack, and that's it. And then I put it in a handheld sprayer, and I'm just going to soak it a little bit. That's that. And so now these DG particles are actually sitting here starting to break apart. Now what happens with BIOCHAR is BIOCHAR sucks up water, basically. So it's going to suck up this nutrient, and it's going to hold it. It's going to suck up the microbe activity. So I don't want to disturb it. I'm going to leave it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a food layer on top of this. Okay, so a lot of people wanted to know about the secret organic material that I was talking about earlier. Stop for a minute. Stop. This is not fertilizer. Remember that. This needs to be used in combination with BIOCHAR on your lawn. Don't put this out until you get your BIOCHAR. Once you get your BIOCHAR, then you put your BIOCHAR and you put this on your lawn, and it spreads just like an organic fertilizer, but it's not an organic fertilizer. Got that? This is organic, clean organic material to feed your microbial activity. I'll put a link below where you can get it. Hopefully you have a Tractor Supply or a feed store near you, but it's real important that this is the Dumar poultry feed, and it is a crumble. Do not buy the pellets. We tested the pellets last year, and they are not good. This acts just like a spread fertilizer. I'll show it to you here in a minute. You can put it in your spreader and you can spread it on your lawn. But again, do not pretend that this is fertilizer. You want to use PGF Complete on your lawn first. Then you're going to put BIOCHAR down when it's available, when it gets warmer, and we're going to put this. But now, this is microbial food. Organic material is one of two things. It's either meat or it's plants. And that's what this is. This is a combination of soy, wheat, all these different real clean products. And that's what it is, and that's why we're going to put it on. Alright, so there we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just another bag of this, and I'm just going to keep repeating this. And this is going to sit here for 1 to 2 weeks. Putting about half a bag on top, about 2 inches. More BIOCHAR. Spray it. And just so you can see what this stuff looks like, here it is. All right, so this is about, I don't know, 8 bags of that brown cow compost manure. Layer, 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 layer. Here. Now understand, this is not garden soil. This is going to sit here and I will turn it in about 4 or 5 days. I'll mix it up. This is what we're going to take a scoop of and we're going to mix into the garden soil around our plants. So this is the concentrate, supercharged, and then we're going to mix it into the area around each one of the plants, and then we'll plant right there. There's no reason for me to have this, 24 inches away from a tomato plant when the nutrients, all that activity is going to be 12 inches mainly down and around. So that's what I want to do. I want to put this down all around the plant while I plant it and focus it, focus it, focus it, focus it. So this is a huge amount, to be honest. We're going to take some of this up and use it on the corn up at the farm. So that's a lot of concentrate compost, we'll call it. All right, so Jethro done built me all my boxes. So Doug finished up all the boxes and we're stacking them over here. Tomorrow we're going to pull that old dirt out because we had some diseases last year. We're going to pull that old dirt out. We're going to replace that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of that dirt along the fence. We're just talking, and I might plant peas in there and let the peas grow up on the fence, run some strings. That might be a good idea. I don't think, because it was on my tomatoes and my squashes, so I don't think that same fungus will bother my peas, but I could be wrong. Oh, I'm trying to touch my face with my clean hands. So remember, when you're making this super compost, this is not what you plant in directly. This is a supercharged compost with biochar and organic matter and nutrients, and it's going to sit here and percolate and boil. I'll come out in probably about a few days and I'll just sort of hand mix it a little bit, let it sit, come out and mix it. I don't want it to get rained on, so I am covering it with this little tarp here. Then when I go to plant, what I'll do is wherever I'm going to put my plants, then I'll just take like a scoop of it and mix it into that soil. That's all it is. So this pile is a concentrate, and this will go a long way. I have way more than I need here for this garden over here. Again, if you're going to use humichar, if you can get it, it's been delayed because of everything that's going on. We hope maybe in 3 weeks it'll be up. You can use humichar, or you can use the garden soil biochar. Now, you cannot use the garden soil biochar on the lawn because it will not penetrate into the soil. The humichar will. You understand that? Because we're digging this stuff into the soil, it's gone forever. And that's one of the reasons why we want to preload it, because we'll never see it again. Humichar doesn't have to be preloaded because it sits in the thatch layer for a couple weeks and slowly works down, and it'll naturally preload and pre-charge. But I want to show you something over here real quick. I want to show you what I mean about regular biochar that's not micronized, how it will not go into the soil. Over 2 months ago, we put this kind of biochar on the grass, and right next to it we put humichar. 60 seconds later, the humichar was through the grass, through the thatch layer, and sitting on top of the soil, working its way down. 2.5 months later, the other biochar is still up on the thatch layer. Let me show you. Okay, so here it is. So right here in this square, we put humichar. Right here, we put regular biochar. 2 months, 2.5 months, and I want you to see what's sitting on top. And this will stay there for years and years. So this type of biochar will never go where it needs to be, which is in the root zone. In the root zone. This is gone. It's already into the soil. That's humichar. Why do I have green grass on March 15th? Because I follow the Bermuda Lawn Guide. It's free. I'll put a link to all these products and the Bermuda Lawn Guide. Go to the description below this video. There'll be a link. It'll take you to our website. This video will be on a page, and all the products, everything will be there. Do it. What are you doing, fat dog? Hey. 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 Come here. Sit. No, you're not going to sit. Oh, big fat Jack Russell. Jethro's gone home now. Jethro done gone home. He fixed up all that stuff for me. We're all done here. tomorrow Jacob's going to come over, and what we're going to do is we're going to do all this soil work tomorrow. We got some yard work to do. We're going to be doing the grub video. I'll show you the grubs that are invading across the street. I was going to do that, but I'm kind of waiting for the new Anderson spreader that they release. The new Anderson spreader, I went ahead and ordered it. It's really cool looking, and it's supposed to come in tomorrow. So I really wanted to use that new spreader with this grub stuff. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Oh yeah.
All the cool people subscribe. My banana plants are coming up, by the way. Just let me show you that. These are hardy banana plants, and we didn't know if they'd survive the winter, but they're designed to survive the cold winters. So let me show you. My banana plants are coming back. I'm so happy. So I got to dig out all this excess mulch, and I should have some nice banana plants this month. We got some guest reel cutters coming in here, real people. Malin was here. She was cutting. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. I got to go sit down. I'm tired. Doc.